Welcome back to the show. In this video, I'm going to talk about this indicator right now and also Bitcoin, Ethereum, also MMCrypto, and how there could be a huge crash just around the corner for Bitcoin. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So I want to look at this indicator because right now we can see that it's about to cross this hash line. And in the past, it's done some remarkable things. We've had crashes from 30% to 60% after this line has crossed. So it's a very important line in the past, and we'll see if it's important in the future as well. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, and it's not guaranteed it's going to act the same way. It's a different market, different players, but let's go ahead and take a look at what happened in the past so we could be informed. So these lines right here are the same lines that matched up. You can see September 1st, 2015, and then February 2020, and then November 2022. And you can see that we had a pretty big pullback right here. That was about 30%. It was just before the COVID-19 crash. That was about 60%. And then this one, the last bear market, that was a drawdown about 30%. And so these marked the big drop before the start of the bull market. And it's about to happen right now. You can see where these lines meet up, and you can see the dates. Rewind the video, and you can see that they line up with where Bitcoin was for those lines. And then also we're about to cross down. Now, another thing that I'm looking at right here is when Bitcoin goes into a bear market, it goes down to these moving averages. We can see that. This is the bear market in November 22, and this is the same line that we got just now. And as you see, it was just before the last leg down to these moving averages. This next bear market, it touched these moving averages, then we had a big run up, and then we did the double bottom, and that line crossed just before the COVID-19 crash that went down to these moving averages. Now this is the bear market before that, back in 2015. We can see it went down to these moving averages, and then there's a big crash right about when that line crossed, and this is the same line that's crossing like right here. That was back here. Yeah. Back there. So where are we at now? So this is where we're at now. We haven't touched these moving averages yet, and we're just about ready to cross down right here past that this hash line right here, whatever you want to call it. And so that would be a pretty big drop. That would be down to about $35,000, which from here it is about 46% move. And a lot of people don't think that can happen, but Bitcoin has moved big in the past. These drops are anywhere from 60 to 30%. But like I said, just because it's happened in the past does not mean it's going to happen in the future. Now, looking at Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, you can see in this bear market, it did come down to this moving average right here. And so that one right now is sitting at around 44,100, but I've seen it come down to these other moving averages on the 4-hour chart. And that these lines right here are the ones on the daily. That's where that would be. So I can see it coming down here, since we have done it right there, at least right there, then possibly this lower one. Looking at Ethereum, I'm looking at Ethereum because I'm actually very bullish on Ethereum, and I'm going to invest in BMNR when I take my long-term investment and ride it for the whole bull market, because it's a leverage bet on Ethereum. It moves more than Ethereum, and Ethereum I think is going to outperform Bitcoin. I talked about that in my previous video, so I'm going to attach a video to this one, so take a look at that one, and that explains how Bitcoin dominance is going to go down and how Ethereum dominance is going to go up, and how there could be an altcoin season that's very long compared to the past. Anyways, so this low right here was actually in the middle of the bull market for crypto. And so I think it's going to go, Ethereum's going to go below this low, and which would make sense because it usually goes down to the spotted moving average, which is around 1,140. And it's going to be crossing down. And the reason why I have these lines right here, because if you look at on the 4-hour, Ethereum has been touching these moving averages right here on the 4-hour. I went down to the second one right there, and I think we're due for going down to the second one, which is around $1,000 right now. So if we go back to the daily, that is where this line is, and where this moving average might cross it. Maybe it will cross right around September 11th, which is kind of crazy because crazy stuff happens on September 11th, like 9/11. But if it crosses right there, something happens. If you need a narrative, or you could just look at the charts and you could predict the news. And what I'm predicting is that there's going to be some bad news coming around. And that would match up with that 4-hour chart moving average right here, this one right here, which it hit right here. And so it's definitely could hit it again if we get some bad news, and that's where that would line up. Now, so these are the technicals, and now I want to take a look at what MMCrypto is talking about, because he's talking about how the elites, the people that know what's going on, is shorting the market hugely, and the people that do not know, the retail, the suckers, as he puts it, or the elites puts it, are longing the market, thinking that the market is bottomed out and it's going a lot higher. And so my technicals are lining up with what MMCrypto is talking about, and so I really wanted to share this in a video, and so take a look at what he has to say.
Today for the Bitcoin and crypto prices, ladies and gentlemen, I have horrible news for you, literally devastating news. And dude, when I saw this, I was mind blown. I knew it's bad, but I didn't know how bad it actually is. And I will explain to you in detail, but very easy to understand. This is about Bitcoin, this is about crypto. Actually, it's about the whole economy, but I will boil it down for you, especially if you are interested not just in the traditional markets, but in Bitcoin and what is about to happen. So, as you know, I was a taxi driver and I also studied economics, right? And when I looked into that specific data, which I will show you right now, I was horrified. The last time I was that horrified was, actually the last 3 times I was that horrified was 2009, 2020 basically at the sea crash, and now again. So let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring it up. So number one, I will make it easy for you, but I wanna go through a few different charts, and then I will draw a conclusion in the end and tell you exactly what I think is about to happen right now in the immediate short term and also in the mid run for Bitcoin, for crypto, and for the traditional market. So the first chart we are looking at is the short ratio of the GDP, right? And this one is showing us that the elites are actually right now short, and they are more short than they have ever been. Not just they have the highest cash positions, they are very short. You can see that in that chart here, right? The short ratio as percentage of the gross domestic product is the highest it has ever been.
That is very interesting. The elites are shorting the market right now, the most they've ever done in the past. That's when I would want to short.
Let's go, but listen guys, listen until the very end. Let's go into the next one. And here you can see the total short ratio of the total markets, also super high.
Holy cow, you see that where it says 2020 Corona crash? It's right there. And right now we're a little bit lower right here as well. So just by looking at that, that does look pretty bearish. And this is the hedge fund global long short ratio from January 2017 to July 2026. Let's see what else he has to say.
This is the next one, the long short ratio, right? When this is low, we have more shorts compared to longs than in previous times. And here you can see we had a super low, even lower than the previous ones in the previous crises.
With this chart, you can see that there's more people shorting right now than ever in the past.
And now to conclude all of these things together, and this is the most important chart of them all before I'm going into the conclusion, is the retail suckers. The suckers from the retail, because they're not very short, no. Actually, their margins are higher than ever before. They are lending money to go long into the market. The retail is here betting on long. They are leveraged as crazy. And that is super concerning, because when you have the retail suckers, I want to call that without being demeaning, but that's just the word, the word you use, or the elites are using basically, the retail suckers. If they are long and leveraged while the elites are short, this is a cocktail, which it couldn't be more dangerous. So when I saw that, the elites being super short while the retail is so super long and leveraged, I'm telling you guys, this is a recipe for disaster usually. So now, boiling it down, what does it mean for Bitcoin? I can tell you exactly what that means. First of all, what does it mean for the retail markets, for the traditional and financial markets? It means nothing good, right? This week, next week, we don't know. We know the cocktail is boiling and it's about to explode at one point of time, rather sooner than later. It could mean it takes another few months. It could mean it takes a few weeks. We don't know, right? You can kick the can down the road just that far. But at one point of time, the can cannot be kicked down the road further, and it is going to explode. And if it is going to explode, we will see most likely something similar to 2020, something similar to 2008-9, something similar to 2000 and 2001 dot-com crash, financial crisis, see Corona dump.
Yeah, I completely agree with him, especially after looking at the charts, that short term we will suffer from the market. But it's good to follow the elites. I mean, what they're doing is making sense, and I'm sure they're looking at different indicators like these to make their decisions, possibly. And remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but like, subscribe, share this video. I'd really appreciate it. Help me grow the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. And stay in the green. I hope you have a good day.